Well then, welcome to my very first live stream. I've decided that we needed a different little challenge to keep us going during these COVID-19 months. If you don't know, I am currently in self-isolation due to my partner suffering from some symptoms. I'm absolutely fine, she's doing fine as well. But it just finds a lot of spare time on my hands, so I've decided to start with a live stream of Sunderland. Now, obviously, going back to our roots a little bit here, the very first save that I ever did on, just make sure this is working alright, champion. First ever save that I did on YouTube was, of course, a Sunderland save. They are my home team club, and I'm delighted to take them over again. If you're unaware of what happened last season in real life, we did not get promoted from League One. We got beat in the playoffs, which I'm sure some of you will have seen in the documentary Sunderland Till I Die, which is just released. But haven't got the chance to watch it all myself just yet. I'm a little bit nervous to watch it, knowing what's coming and getting me hopes up. Even though I know how it ends, I'll still watch it and get a little bit excited by everything. So we have already taken over Sunderland. We were at the 30th of June. In the very first season. I've done a couple of bits and bobs off screen before anyone's even seen this. I've decided to completely revamp the entirety of the coaching setup. When I joined, this was how many coaches we had, scouts and medical staff. So it was a big sort of switch around in the backroom staff that was required. Done the same with the under 23s and the under 18 squad. So that bit of business is all taken care of. I've already organised my staff and responsibilities in terms of exactly what I want them to do and what I don't want them to do. One of the major aspects of the game, training, I don't even touch it. I'll let my assistant manager deal with all of that. But other than that, alongside the media stuff, I completely leave that to my assistant. Everything else I pretty much take charge of. Everything to do with transfers, whether it's the under 18s, under 23s, or the first team squad, I've got to do it myself, really, basically. So then, let's move on and let's get continuing with the squad. In terms of Sunderland themselves, for a League One club, we do have players who are more than capable of getting us out of this division. This was the suggested formation when I joined the club, and having had a look at the squad, we've got a hell of a lot of good centre-backs for this level, so playing three at the back makes sense. Wing-backs, not so hot. We've got two decent options in McLaughlin and Declan John. Hume is a player with plenty of potential, and I am already retraining him in that left wing-back spot. But right wing-back, we might need some improvement going forward. Centre midfielder, we're absolutely fine with. Haven't really got that playmaker in the centre, which I would really like to perhaps bring in during this transfer window. We do need a left-sided player, potentially need a right-sided player. Striker, we've got Will Grigg. Of course, if you know him in real life, he hasn't exactly been a massive success at Sunderland, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Maybe we can sign somebody new, maybe Esposito, maybe not. It all depends on what we can get available. In terms of the transfer budget, then we've got £1 million to be able to spend, which isn't too bad. I might be able to make some moves with that sort of money, but nothing major, mainly loan signings, as you could imagine. 13k available in the wages, which is not too bad. The average wage in our squad, if you can see, is probably about 6k, so not exactly great start of the club life. We've got a couple of big earners in Duncan Watmore, Grant Ledbetter and Will Grigg. Bailey Wright, Kyle Lafferty, all on 10k plus. Hello there, Joe. Thank you for coming in and joining me during this live stream. Just going through the Sunderland squad at the minute. We've decided to take over them and hope to get them into the Championship at the first time of asking. In terms of players that could potentially move on, then Alim Ozturk on 3.5k is currently wanted by Doncaster. It would probably free up the finances to be able to bring in another centre-half, even though we've got plenty of good options in that position. But if we're playing three, we are obviously going to need plenty of players and stuff available, so that is likely to be an option. Charlie Wyke was already transfer listed when I joined the club, and I agree with that transfer list, and he is not very good, and he's not going to be a player I persist with. He does give us that different option up front of a target man, but I've never played with a poacher in a long time and made it work, so I'm going to try that. This is sort of the formation and tactic I'm looking at. 3 at the back with the 2 wing backs and the 2 wingers, 2 central midfielders and the striker. A very attacking formation. The club do want me to play a possession-based attacking football, which is definitely something I'm interested in. And we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. We're going to play through the summer transfer window today, see how far we can get in a couple of hours, and then continue on from there. Joe, my day is going absolutely fine. I started watching the first episode of Sunderland Till I Die, the Netflix documentary today, and it's just spurred me on to start this save. So I need to get going, and I need to get my hometown club back to where it belongs, or at least in the Championship. So I have done some scouting so far. We'll see them scout reports sort of trickle in over the course of the next few weeks. We've got Mile Jedinak already scouted. Not somebody I'm interested in. We've got enough defensive-minded central midfielders and D mids. Jonathan Lecco, of course, would be a fantastic signing, but at 13 million, we probably can't quite stretch to that, actually. So I think we're going to give that one a little bit of a miss. But we'll continue on and see if we've got a whole new batch of staff coming in. If you've missed that, a whole new batch, and I need them scouts in pretty quickly. We've got 3 scout places, 1 director of football. I need to get them on assignments as quick as possible once they all come in, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do that once we get to that point. Hello, Comedy Gamer. I'm glad you love this. I'm the first time streaming. Never done it before my entire life, so we'll see how it goes and see if I can keep it going. Here's our first physio coming in then. Jonathan Lecco probably could get him on loan, Joe. But I've got different options in mind. I've sort of got to wait until all these staff come in, get me scouts set up, wait for the scout reports to return, and then we'll be able to make some major moves, I'm hoping. If you have been watching the Yo-Yo Man save, you'll know there's a very specific man who I've got in mind. He's currently 16, actually, he's just turned 17 years old, which means he's signed his professional contract and now could be available for loan. Yeah, Comedy Gamer 365. This will be a stream only save. I might do videos on it, like maybe seasonal updates. Like, so when we get to the end of season 1, season 2, do a video specifically on that. But for the most part, it is going to be a stream only save. But I've already got him scouted. No interest, unknown loan interest. Would Inter Milan potentially loan me Esposito in League 1? I want him. He's just my guy on Football Manager. We'll try. Oh, it's still... Oh, I cannot go abroad until he's 18. Not when he turns a professional. So there's one option out already. Maybe Jonathan Lecco's looking better by the second. But as I said earlier, we have got loads of scout reports going to come in quite soon. And I just want to wait until our scouts get around to actually getting them completed. And then we'll be able to make a more informed decision on which part of the pitch we can actually improve. I wouldn't be that bothered if we didn't make too many signings this summer. I know that sounds a bit crazy. If you watch me other saves, I like to make a lot of sweeping changes during summer transfer windows, but the Sunderland squad at the very minute should be good enough to get us promoted. The board are expecting me to win the league, which does leave me a little bit nervous because it doesn't leave a lot of room to manoeuvre in terms of not getting sacked. But I'm hoping with some smart additions we'll be able to avoid any sort of complications going forward. Some of them are trickling in now. We'll wait until we actually get the messages from the scout reports to do some finer tuning. Just in case you didn't see the squad depth screen, this is what we're working with. Kyle Lafferty is rated as our best striker, and that's a decent player for most Sky Bet Championship sides at 3.5 stars. So if you take that as sort of a rough estimate of where our squad is, it should be good enough to get us out of League One. Defensively, we should just never concede. Smith, I think he's a decent player for most championship sides as well, according to my coach report. And he's absolutely fantastic for this level. His injury history is absolutely fine as well. It's not him, it's Bailey Wright, who's currently out for like 5 months at the beginning of the game. We're not going to be able to play him whatsoever. 3 to 4 months. Hopefully, in the January period, he might be able to return and do something for us, but I'm not going to rely on that. He's on 10k per week as well, which is absolutely just massive money for this league. Absolutely massive money. One of the things, the season preview as well, we are expected, if we can load that up, so far, a super fan of your accent. That's good. Not many people are, to be quite honest with you, but thank you for joining me. But as you can see, Sunderland are expected to finish top of the table. I think it's going to be a close race between the top 3 here, unless one of the other clubs ends up coming in and stealing the glory. But we are expected to be able to do that, and we should technically be able to do it, I would think. We've got the players. We do have the players. But as you can see, a lot of my highly rated players are centre-halves, which is why I did decide to commit to the 3 centre-half formation. Being solid defensively is not really my thing in Football Manager. I'm far more interested in scoring more goals than the opposition. I think it's the best form of defence in Football Manager. It seems to be attack, at least in my view, anyway. Oh, you started your own yo-yo, man, save Joe. That's who have you started with? Which team have you ended up taking over first? Yeah, the yo-yo, man. I absolutely, if you haven't noticed, my favourite part of any Football Manager save is, particularly in England, is that championship season where you get promoted. Then you've got that summer transfer window, the first one in the Premier League. You get money, access to money you never would have in the championship. You get access to players who you never will have in the championship, and it's just a fun time all around, to be honest with you. That's why I keep doing it. So if you've noticed, I don't manage my friendlies. Absolutely not. Nobody's got time for that. My assistant manager can do that. Friendlies are just for match fitness or raising money if you're a very, very lower league club. Well, keep me updated, Joe. I want to see who you take over first. It's a good challenge. It definitely highlights some of the championship quality that's in the league. I know we've been able to get promoted with pretty much every side so far, but it's a tough league. It's a tough league, the championship. But as you can see now, me 2 scouts are running around Europe trying to get as many scout reports as possible. All these players for 3 millions and stuff. We're just going to bank them for the future. Got a young lad, Horry Cochran, for 115k from Hearts. Doesn't look too bad, but at 2.5 star, I'm not really interested in making signings for the future whilst in League One. You just don't have access to that many good players. He looks a bit alright. Venezuelan 31, not interested. We're going to clear that. We'll put Jonathan Lecco on the shortlist. Miles Jedinak got no chance. He's terrible. He is terrible. He is terrible. He is terrible. If you kind of tell, I do make snap judgments on some players. I think we're just going to clear the rest. Spilling drink down my cell already. Right then. So I think the league season starts pretty early in League One. I'll take a look at the schedule. So the 3rd of August, so we've got less than a month to get this squad ready for the league season. And there's Lyndon Gooch picking up a 4 to 5 week injury straight away. I was starting right midfielder. That's absolutely fantastic stuff. And he's given us jip as well, trying to console him on his injury, and he's given us jip. Come on, Lyndon. I know you're not like that in real life. We do have options off the bench. Duncan Watmore, 15k per week. I would love to be able to move him on, but I think it's highly unlikely at this stage, and he might prove useful in the squad. And we've got Semenyo on the right hand side as well, to be able to play there if required. We do need some major changes, I think. No, we don't. In wing back is a weird position because not many players can play there naturally. So when you look at their team report and how many stars they get in that position, they're not necessarily that comfortable. I know McLaughlin is, and I know Declan John is, but I wouldn't mind starting Denver Hume. He's got great physicals. His potential is there. He's a Sunderland lad as well. So I would quite like to start him, and Luke O'Nien. We've got there. He's a great player in real life. I really enjoy watching him play for Sunderland, and he does typically operate in that wing back role. He's not quite natural there yet. He is being trained as a right wing back to hopefully become natural there over the course of this season. There's our injury update. Jordan Willis is returning, which is good. He's a relatively young centre back who will be trying to give game time to. Didn't have a bad season in real life, but he wasn't fantastic or anything. We're not interested in the English trial, dear. There is nothing there for me. There's me head of youth development going out there trying to find youngsters. He looks okay. 4-star potential. I wouldn't mind him coming in sitting in the under-23s. In terms of the under-23s, we do have Ballymumba in there, who I might end up promoting to the first team squad. He's currently wanted for transfer. Might be someone we're able to use to be able to bring in a lot of money, but I think he needs some development for that to actually be a realistic thing for us. Central midfielder support seems a good role for him. 2.5-star current, 5-star potential. Someone we're going to have to keep an eye on. I'll make him available for all under 23 matches anyway, but get him moved up into that first team squad. As you can see, the coaching staff have now come in and the scouting staff, so we should be getting them scout reports in pretty quickly. In terms of the training, then our coaches, let's see how they're getting on. Not ideal. It's okay for this level, but you can tinker around with this and get better star ratings than your assistant does, by the way. It's just something that you have to play with and trial and error, basically. But we're getting through it, and I'm hoping that the reports start flooding in, because I would like to start making some moves on some players. We've always got the loan market. That's sort of always my last resort. If I can sign a player for 200k, 300k who's going to be a starter in my squad with a bit of potential to grow, I will always make that move. But at this level, with the sort of players we've currently got, it might not be a good option for us. Ngoy is currently listed for loan. He's got the pace. Probably would do a job in League One. Well, I was hoping for better than that, to be quite honest with you. Sounds like my laptop is surviving the live stream, which is good. It's not completely blown its fans out just yet, so we'll enjoy that while it lasts. My internet connection is pretty good here. We've got a hardwired now, and it's doing fine. No dropped frames as of yet. Or Joe, take over Sheffield Wednesday. That will be a very, very good first club, I would say. I think they'll be in a lot better position than Barnsley were. Barnsley were newly promoted. The finances weren't exactly great. Sheffield Wednesday have already got a decent side in the first season on Football Manager. I'm not sure where they're expected to get in the very first season. Probably mid-table, I would guess. We'll take a quick look, see where Sheffield Wednesday are expected to be. So here we are. Sheff Wed 16th. Not too bad. Not too bad. Got the likes of Connor Wickham. I'm not sure how good he is on Barry Bannon is listed as your key player. He's a decent player for Championship. 22nd at the minute. Aye. 16th predicted, so 22nd's not that big of a surprise. How far are they into the season, Joe? But if you are new around here, I doubt many of you are, but if you are new, I do have a sub-count goal there, 1,000 before the end of the year. It seems pretty ambitious considering I'm only on 500 now and I've been doing this for nearly 2. But what's life without a little bit of ambition and a bit of a goal? Oh, 21st of October, so they are pretty far into the season as well, so not great start by them. You'll need some smart acquisitions in January to turn that around. Hello, Matty, mate. How you doing? Alright, for this one, I won't be doing 3D matches. It'll be 2D. I think my laptop would explode if I tried to do 3D. It seems to be... the heat's kicking off it like. I don't need to use my central heating at all. I got the job interview. Good stuff. Does anyone else find job interviews really boring on Football Manager? They're all the same. Once you've done one, you've done them all. And as long as you aren't going for a job that's completely out of your league, you tend to get it most of the time if you're just sensible. So, we've sold 20,000 season tickets. That's not too bad. I'm not sure what our average attendance is going to be in League One. It's probably going to be around 26, I would imagine. Which is good financially. Overall balance of 15 mil. They might even give us more budget in January if I ask for it. He's going to be coming off the bench, Comedy Gamer. I've currently made him available for all under 23 matches, so as long as he's available to play for the first team, he'll be coming off the bench, especially when we're winning. I'll bring him on straight away. But he is currently wanted by Norwich, Sheffield United, West Ham and Watford. If they came in with 10 million, I'm not too... I might end up selling. Ah, that's it, Matty. You do. You just tell them what they want to hear, and you've got the job. No doubt about it. Just, do you think this squad's good enough? Do you think you need more money? No, don't need any more money. Finances are fine. Happy days, Joe. New Sheffield Wednesday boss. Scout reports are coming in. We're scouting for pretty much every position. Using the filtering, so we're getting the goalkeepers coming in first. It's not really a position where we require anything. Got Lee Burgess back up, currently a 3-star keeper in this league, which I would imagine is a good player for most League One sides. Then we've got John McLaughlin, who's a fantastic keeper for this league, and he will probably, as long as we get promoted, he will do us probably in the Championship as well. So we don't really need the keepers just yet. That's Denver Hume, 3-day injury, that's not too bad. He's another one that we're going to have to give game time to. Even though Declan John is rated higher, Denver Hume just needs to get more comfortable in that position, I think. And then he'll be a good player at 20 years old. We'll compare him to Declan John just to settle that argument in my mind. Declan John's a lot better physically, particularly his speed. But technically it looks like Denver Hume. Mentally Denver Hume's got the edge. Physically Declan John's got the edge. But Declan John isn't my player. He's Swansea City's player. Got some interesting dilemmas in terms of strongest first 11. Come on, Denver. Stop picking up injuries, mate. That's your second injury in a week. Joe, you're going to have to wheel and deal. Get the loans in. Unfortunately, Esposito's not old enough to loan. Tell you what, one of the major places that would need to improve. We can't wait for scout reports. It's left wing. We've got Chris Maguire, who's a good technical player, not very good physically. He will probably end up getting the start out there, but it's not exactly something. I don't want to persist with them all season. I need the option off the bench to be able to bring on a pacey player. We'll see who's interested in a loan. Isaac Success, that would be great, as long as we're not paying too much of his wages. So I've got that as doubtful. So Isaac Success is a fantastic left midfielder, 23 years old. I would imagine Watford want a lot of his wages paid though, which would be the stumbling block. They only want 30%. Isaac Success. What do we think of him? Oh. Potentially. I think potentially Isaac Success could be £9 a week's a lot of money though. Angel Gomez. More of a centre attacking midfielder, isn't he really? But he looks like he could do a job on the left hand side. Either footed as well. Is he as good as Chris Maguire though? Physically he definitely is. Chris Maguire has him in pretty much every department in the technicals, apart from the major ones. Apart from the ones that matter. But obviously physically does. I think I like Isaac Success. Oh Matty, I love trawling through regens. It's literally what I live for. I would sit there for hours. That's why summer transfer windows take me so long, whereas games and stuff, I can fly through them. So Isaac Success, 9k per week. I will absolutely take that, lad. It does take up a massive part of our wage budget. But we do need to sell Charlie Wyke. Currently valued at 425k. I would bite anybody's hand off if they give me that. In terms of centre back, how many have we got? One. Can ignore Bailey, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can't really afford to sell Ali Mostert without a replacement. Let's see if we can find one on a loan who doesn't want any wages. So I already got the parameters set. I want under 23s ideally. I know it's probably a bit stupid when you're looking for loan players to limit your age range, but I just like young players, and the board want me to sign young players, so that's my excuses already done. Once you get to 2028, Matty, it's there is only regens at that point, pretty much, especially in the Wonder Kid camp. Oh, a couple of interesting options here. Serbians mainly, and I wouldn't mind that if they're willing to accept 0% of his wages. He looks pretty good, doesn't he? Igor Diviev. If we'll just compare him to who's our best centre back? Tommy Smith. Oh, pretty close between the two. Very, very good player then. At 19. Will CSKA let me have him free though? That is the point. We need him for free. Hold on, before we get into this, Denis Popov, Dynamo Kiev. He's unbelievable. Would they even loan me him? They would. They want 135k a month. I wish I hadn't, mate. I would absolutely bite the hand off at that. Or I'd rather sign him permanently, to be honest. Majid. What we're talking about? Iranian. 11 international caps. Compare him to Tommy Smith. How good is he? Better? Probably. Crabs on Spar, what you saying? 82k per month. Nope. That's all it takes, 35 seconds, Joe, to ruin your day. That is all that it takes. Magnani from Sassuolo, 11k per week. Absolutely not. I mean, we could just put our transfer budget and the wage budget and make all this work. I would really like him if you would let us have him CSK for cheap. 875. Nah. I think we need to go younger. Generally, a lot of the players in the 20 years old and over, the teams want a lot more of the money. So we're probably going to have to downgrade a little bit. I could just go on the loan list. The loan list's generally where you find players who won't cost you anything, but I would rather find good players, to be quite honest with you. Oh, he's on 33k per week, Schalke, man. I mean, what are you doing that for? They want 10k per week to loan him out. Radic, no. No, I know Gabriel Corbo turns good. They want 100% of his wages paid. Maxwell Waledzi, nah, not good enough. I think we'll leave this for now. See if we get any offers for Charlie Wyke. Isaac Success though, we're banking on him doing a number. Doesn't like being a winger though, so we'll probably have to change that role. But I know Chris Maguire's right-footed as well, so he would have preferred inverted winger on that side. I just hope the combo works. I am hoping to get Porcher working. It's not a player role I use that often, particularly as a loan player. So we might end up changing that to advance forward at some point, but at least for now, Porcher is what we're going to try with. Wyke, get on the phone, mate. See if you can get anybody interested in you. It's not so much the transfer fee I'm bothered about getting for Charlie Wyke, it's just getting him off the wage bill. If we get him off the wage bill, then we can make some moves in the loan market. 20-year-old, absolutely not. Waste of money. We are not signing him head of youth development. I do let the head of the youth development make some approaches for some players. On the odd occasion that they actually find someone who's really, really good. As Ballymumba having a good training week. Flying up already, sitting in the first team. Oh, 850k. I would prefer Isaac Success, I really think. He was much cheaper wages though. But no, I think Success is going to be a different level. A different level in League One. I certainly hope so. Hello, old lady players. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much for dropping by and saying hi. My very, very, very first stream. I'm very new to this. Currently in social isolation at the moment. Not because I've got any symptoms, but my partner works in the NHS, and she has shown some symptoms, so we both have to stay off. I currently work in social care as well, so it's not a good situation for me to go into work right now. But all that means is I've got all this time to spend making Football Manager content, and I don't know what to do with it. For those of you watching Yo-Yo Man, by the way, if you haven't realised, I record ahead in advance. It's not an ideal situation, but I've got to record when I can. And he's just a secret drop. I've already left Huddersfield. That's how far ahead I am. I think the last episode that just went live, we got beaten in the playoffs. So, yeah, we're pretty far ahead, which is why the stream has come about. Yeah, old lady player's just doing absolutely fine. Our mood's improved a lot over the past few days. It started with a pretty heavy cough which turned into like a fever type thing. She's aching all over, but she's doing absolutely champion. Thankfully, they've actually got her swabbed today, so we should get results back as to whether she has COVID or not in the next 48 hours. And if she doesn't, it means I can return to work, which is ideal. So there's Isaac's success brought in. The £9,000 per week does take up a large chunk of our wage budget, but I'm going to edit this straight away. I think it's well worth it. A 4-star player in League One, he can play up front if we need him to, which might not be a bad idea, to be quite honest with you, when it's Will Grigg, who we're currently thinking of starting up front. He is more of an advanced forward though, rather than a poacher. At least initially, he's going to be a left-sided player. But as you can see there, that really strengthens that left-hand side and gives us good options, both starting and off the bench. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. The entire squad, to be quite honest with you, is looking pretty good. So it's going to take some special players to be able to come in and take a first-team spot. But that doesn't mean they're not out there. Any player under the age of 23 who's interested in a loan, who's the best one? Adalberto Penaranda. Imagine having him in the League One. They want 10% of his wages. Thanks for stopping by, lady players. Hope you have a good day. But yeah, what do you think of him? Adalberto Penaranda. Mother just ringing us that. I think at £3,200 per week, we would be absolutely stupid not to do it. He will come in. I don't even need a scout report. He will come in and absolutely smash League One. I think he will. Troy Parrott. Not quite there yet, 17 years old. Once he gets to 18... hopefully we're promoted by then. We'll revisit him next season. Any other major names who you can spot? Aaron Connolly. Another good striker. I prefer Penaranda. James Garner. Our former man, James Garner. Oh, he was fantastic. We signed him for like £2 million from Manchester United with Birmingham in the Premier League. He's pretty good. We don't need him though. Sam, you don't need him. Stop looking at him. I can't help myself. Once I get started, you just spot all these players and I think, oh, Penaranda, man. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Hopefully he wants to join me. Has he got any other bids in? He is wanted by a couple of MLS sides, but they haven't went in for him yet. So hopefully we can pinch him. AFC Wimbledon want Charlie White on loan. Right. So they'll pay 425k if they stay up in the league and pay 70% of his wages during the loan. We haven't had much interest in a permanent transfer. Southend are the only side currently interested. I think I'm going to take that. Well, basically, swapping Charlie White for Penaranda and 1k per, and saving 1k per week in the wage bill, which is an absolute no-brainer. More of our scout reports coming in. Anyone available for like 20k? Nope. Good goalkeeper Zoho. We had him as well. I can't remember who that was with. Was that all Barnsley? Zoho? It's available for 675k at the start of the game. Ivan VR, not available. Not available. He would be a good right wing back in this league, wouldn't he? currently want £1.3 million for him. Don't think that's going to happen. Hello so far, I'm hoping to stream regularly, yes. I can't guarantee a regular schedule, but at least for the next couple of days I'll be streaming every day. After that, it'll just be whenever I can. I am so far ahead in Yo-Yo Man recordings that I could sit on them for a good couple of weeks and stream more regularly. Good luck from Romeo. Well, thank you very much. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name because I haven't got no idea how to do it. And I don't want to insult you. But thank you. Thank you for joining. You've seen how I pronounce names in this game. Absolutely dreadfully. Unless it's an English name with less than 2 syllables, I start to struggle. Hey. Well, the friendlies are going by. How's our assistant manager doing? He's doing alright. Beat Darlington. Well, M2. No major challenges in there. Kaiserslautern's was probably a difficult game. No, it wasn't. Our first game of the season then is in less than a week's time. I would like to bring in Penaranda before that point and have him in the starting squad straight away alongside Isaac Success. We're just going to raid Watford. That's all we're going to do in this window. I can recall Aidan McGeady. I can. I'm not going to. He's on 16k per week. Who's paying his wages? So we paying 4k, they're paying 12. I am not recalling Aidan McGeady. Absolutely no chance. One of the things with Sunderland as well is the board. You're always likely to get a takeover at some point. The chairman, Stuart Donald, as in real life, is looking to sell the club. So, attracting interest. Let's hope we get a sugar daddy. And just have the time of our lives in League One. Jaden Bogle for £22 million, anyone? Yeah, I would do it if we had the money. Hope the music isn't too loud, by the way. It's just some copyright-free music I found on YouTube Music. It's absolutely dreadful. But I am leaving these up as VODs, so if you ever miss a stream and you would like to catch up on what has happened, then you can watch the VOD on my channel. I will also, I spoke about this a bit earlier, I'm thinking of doing seasonally updates as separate videos, so if maybe I complete a season over the next week or something and you've missed a lot of the episodes and you just want to catch up on exactly what has happened, who I've signed, where I've finished, I will be doing that as well. So I know Joe's got a save going on FM right now, managing Sheffield Wednesday in his own Yo-Yo Man challenge. Is any of you playing Football Manager? Who are you managing? How's it going? Are any of you doing the Yo-Yo Man? It's genuinely probably one of my favourite saves I've ever done, Yo-Yo Man. The summer transfer windows that you can have with a newly promoted side with £50 million you've never had to spend before, and a whole new world of players suddenly becomes interested in you because your reputation's improved. Oh, it's just the sweet spot when it comes to Football Manager. Go on then, Joe. Get Man City winning that league. Yeah, get the transfers in and see how they do. It's difficult in the first season because Liverpool are a very, very good side on Football Manager. And I think in pretty much every single season I've seen where I haven't been managing in the Premier League in the first season, Liverpool have won it. So it's a tough challenge. Matty's managing Hereford currently in 2028, which is why he's coming up against all the regens. What league are you in, Matty? I'm not even sure where Hereford are in the league table at the start. Hereford in the Vanarama North. What tier is that? Is that 7th, 6th, 7th tier? Sixth tier. So if Penaranda falls through, what they're asking for Troy Parrott, 10k a week. I mean, we daft not do, wouldn't I? But I would prefer Penaranda. We've got 5 days and there he's coming in. He is coming in. Adalbert or Penaranda. 3k per week or something we're paying on his 32k per week wages. We'll quickly pick our captains though. Grant Ledbetter and Tommy Smith. Oh, George Dobson though. George Dobson's an absolute beast. Look at him. We just don't play any defensive midfielders, mate. You're going to have to play in the box-to-box midfielder role. And there's Penaranda coming in, 3.2k per week. Him and Isaac's success will absolutely be fantastic in this league. I have no doubt about it. Just can't make the mistake of signing too many loan players. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3. We've got 5 now. So I think that's why we're going to have to stop in terms of loans. So the only new players that come in will be permanent transfers, of which is not likely to be many. You're in the Prem, Matty. Good stuff. Class takeover second season. That's what I'm hoping for with Sunderland. Sounds like a good idea, Joe. Taking over the league favourites of every league. Doing the transfers, then leaving and seeing how they get on. Hello, Campbell Drain. Thank you for joining me. How's it going? A lot of German players seem to come up when you're in the lower leagues. Available for relatively decent fees compared to the English counterparts. But under 18s, you just can have them. Head of youth development, clearly getting out there and doing some work. I don't think we've got many hot prospects really in the under 18s. Ballymumba is the main one, who is now in the first team. Have any of you watched Sunderland Till I Die yet? I watched the first episode today. I couldn't bring myself to do it until today. It starts off, the first episode starts off so positively, and it just looks like things are going to turn around. Yeah, we all know how it ends. There's Charlie White leaving the club. About 4k off the wage bill. And if EFC Wimbledon do stay in the league, they have an optional fee of £425,000, which is not too bad. Because Sunderland aren't a bad club financially, at least at this point. We've got about 13 million. Was it 13? 16 now in the bank. We're a relatively good run club at this point at the start of an FM save. Not to say it's not going to go downhill quickly though. Stop offering me Jaden Bogle. The fact that he's even slightly interested to join me in a transfer is a little bit crazy. I just need £100 million and I would make the purchase now. Right then. 2 days to go. I'm going to pick my best 11 right now, so we're prepared. At least of who's fit anyway. So John McLaughlin is definitely going to be our starting goalkeeper for this season. He's more than good enough for the Championship, so he's more than good enough for League One. Smith is our best centre-back. I think he's going to be playing alongside Jordan Willis. And it would be barely right if he was fit, but he's not. So it's between Tom Flanagan and Joel Lynch. Tom Flanagan is a decent player, well-rounded physically. Joel Lynch is better. especially technically. He's older as well, at 31. So, but yeah, I think that's going to be our back three for the first game. Matty, you're asking a man who completely rips his squad apart every single season. To be honest with you, mate, when you get newly promoted in the Championship, depending on your level of player, sometimes you just need to gut the squad. A lot of the players are just not quite good enough for that league. If you've got any young, high potential players, even if they're not quite good enough on for the Premier League, it might be worth sticking with them. But nah, I'm very much a rip and gut out sort of manager. Any advice on how to get a player playing more consistently? It depends who you mean, Campbell. What sort of position are you talking about? Because getting a striker to play consistently, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. Especially depending on the sort of team around them. The best way to get a player to play more consistently is to play better players alongside them. Honestly. A lot of the times you've got a player who's your tactic just doesn't click with. We saw that a lot with Barnsley and Birmingham on the left-hand side. We just couldn't figure out the right player role or the right tactic to get an attacker midfielder on the left actually working well. We didn't figure it out until the Premier League. And that was purely down to us having better players all around the whole squad. So right wing back then. Luke O'Nien or Conor McLaughlin. Luke O'Nien needs to get himself used to this role, whereas Conor McLaughlin is already established and he's pretty well rounded as well. So I think it'd be stupid for me to start Luke O'Nien because I prefer him in real life. Declan John, our best left wing back, is currently injured, so Denver Hume will get the nod. But John should be fit for the game against Oxford, so we'll stick him in. George Dobson, I want to be our box-to-box midfielder. He's got good potential, not necessarily our best option in central midfield. But due to his age and due to his potential, I'm going to be giving him as much game time as possible. And Max Power will be the man who links up with him in the centre of the park. So Campbell, right winger in the Championship, yeah. I understand your pain. Honestly, if you've tinkered about with the player roles and you've tinkered about with the player instructions, I would honestly, if you make a change, leave it for 2-3 games, see how his performance has improved, maybe even 5 games, and then tinker again. It might just be the case where your attacking players just need better players to play alongside, honestly. Don't take my word for it, Matty. I've never... Every time I've been promoted, at least on this year's FM, I've gutted the squad. I've never kept the same lads. There was a few lads with Barnsley who I did keep in the first team squad, and I think with Birmingham as well, we had to keep some of the players in because we couldn't find replacements. But you might end up having better success by sticking with lower quality players who are already at the club, they're loyal. There's no team cohesion problems that you'll have with them. So obviously a lot of, particularly foreign signings, take a while to bed in due to the language difficulties, the dynamics, the social isolation they might find in their own social groups. Sometimes it takes a while for them to bed in and actually get good, because that sort of stuff does matter quite a lot in Football Manager. So I think this is going to be our starting lineup for our very, very first game in charge. Lyndon Gooch is currently injured and he would usually be starting over Duncan Watmore. Unfortunately, Watmore's been crucified on this year's FM. He still looks like they've given the high potential, but at 25, he's never ever going to meet it now. Success in Penaranda slots straight in, straight away. 2 days to go to Oxford City, our first game. Neither Will Grigg or Kyle Lafferty Comedy Gamer. It's going to be Penaranda. If there was any interest in Will Grigg, he'd be out the door right now. He's on 10k per week. I only realistically need 2 strikers in my squad. Penaranda is not injury prone, so I shouldn't have too many issues there. So with Charlie White moving on, we've got Kyle Lafferty, Will Grigg and Penaranda. I think I'm not going to offer any of them out just yet. Yeah, Campbell, attacking players, when you're flying up the leagues and you keep sticking with the same attacking players, they're the ones who seem to come unstuck the quickest in terms of consistently performing. Because, you know, a centre-back can have a good game just by keeping a clean sheet. An attacking player needs to score or assist. But once they do, the average rating flies up. And obviously, the more win and run you're on, the better your form, the better the morale, the better your players will play. Which is why I hate rotating my squad. Because every time I do, we end up slipping up by the drawn or getting beat by a side we should be beaten. And then that sort of knocks your form for the next 5. Got a lot of high potential players here. Not any we're currently interested in signing. But we are going to add them to our shortlist for now. I got Ivan Villar as well. Could be a keeper we'll look at in the future. I know he can become quite good. There's a couple of 3-star, 4-star potential players, but when you're looking, you've always got to be thinking ahead when you're looking at this sort of stuff. I don't want to sign a 3-star, 4-star player in League 1 because that player is no longer 3-star, 4-star when you're in the Championship. So any permanent signings I make either are ideal for the first team squad now, or they have the potential to be at least Championship players, hopefully decent Premier League players, really. So Penaranda isn't match sharp, which isn't ideal. But he's still getting the starting spot. He's too good to leave out. So we'll start with McLaughlin, Smith, Willis, Joel Lynch, McLaughlin, John, Max Power, George Dobson, Duncan Watmore, Isaac Success, and Penaranda. Let's see how we get on then. It's a completely new tactic from me. I've never used this in my entire life in terms of this specific one. I know I had a brief spell managing a certain team using a similar formation anyway. Oxford then. We should be heavy favourites for this, I would imagine. We've got Ben Woodburn up top. Not quite the same sort of level as he was last season, Ben Woodburn on Football Manager. But the rest of the players I'm not too familiar with, to be quite honest with you. So, let's fix this. 2D Classic. Key highlights. And I want goals only. Thank you very much. Right then, here we go. First game in charge of Sunderland AFC in Football Manager 2020. It's been 2 years since I've managed Sunderland properly on a Football Manager. Ever since Football Manager 2018 was the last time. What is this? It's a Max Power free kick from the edge of the box. Can you do it for me, Max? Bury this top bins. He's done it. Max Power, first goal of the season. Hold on. Replays. Yeah, we'll stick with replays in 3D. But excellent start of the game. 4 minutes in. Ideal to get our first win at home as well. I'm more interested in the performance today. The tactic is obviously new. The boys have never used it. I've never used it. It might not be effective, but it might as well at the same time. Penaranda coming down the left-hand side on a counter-attack. He hasn't got many options in the box, but he goes himself. Easy save for the keeper, that one. We are going to go back to a positive team mentality rather than attacking. See if we can keep possession a little bit better. Highlight Kelly to play it in for Oxford. It's played in back post. McLaughlin. Jesus, what was that? We need to say this in 3D. Absolutely dreadful. Rob Dickey is the man who gets it. Kelly plays it in. Let's say this again. Dickey heads it. McLaughlin. Oh my... I've just been talking him up as well. I cannot believe it. 20 minutes in. Can we get ourselves back in front? No, we can't. We give the ball away. Success loses it in the midfield. And this does not look good to me unless we win this. John. Come on, Success. I'm banking on you, my son. Dobson. What's he doing with it? Switching the play at the right-hand side. Duncan Watmore is the man who's going to pick it up. Can he whip it in? Oh, he gets there. Penaranda's there. Good save by Eastwood. Come on, boys. Set piece. Ah, it's cleared. Let's demand more out of them. See if we can turn this up a little bit. Oh my god, I wasn't even watching. What a goal. Adalberto Penaranda. I thought the highlight was done. I thought it was over, but it wasn't. And let's say this again. Joel Lynch is the man on the ball on the left-hand side. George Dobson picks it up. Success to Penaranda, bangs it. And this is very choppy. Oh, I might have to turn my graphic settings down. I think the laptop's struggling now. Oh. Struggling now once we're showing the 3D highlights. Here we go. Another highlight. Success pinches the ball and sets away Penaranda down at this left-hand side. Again, he's struggling for options, but he finds Watmore on the other side. He's got the overlap, but he goes himself. He's in the box. Easy save for the keeper. Easy. We're not doing too badly. We're going to go to a balanced team mentality off attacking. Oxford haven't really changed their approach at all during this game, which is a little bit surprising. But we're sitting a little bit deeper, and hopefully we can defend this okay. We win the ball in the midfield. Duncan Watmore is the man on the ball. There's a lack of movement. There's a real lack of movement. Willis plays out with Success on this left-hand side. All of our play is coming down this left right now. All of our good play anyway. Penaranda. Power picks it up. Can he do anything with it? No. Brannigan can break for Oxford. Ford picks it up on the left-hand side. He's going to play it in. Brown. He's going to shoot from deep. No, he's not. There we go. James Henry, just before half-time, gets the equaliser for Oxford United. Not great. Not great at all. Ford's the man who picks up the ball on the left. Brown does well. Finds Henry, and it's Henry. It's a great finish in the top bins. Nothing McLaughlin can do about that one. But we go in after the first half 2-2. Not great. Not happy. However, boys, I want a better performance in this second half. The first win in the league is always important. Sets you up right for the rest of the season. We've got Penaranda and Power having good games, obviously getting their goals. Success with 1 assist. But they are set up very defensively, so we're going to have to do well to break them down. Highlight now, Max Power with a corner. Can we get this? George Dobson. Oh, he goes over the bar. We're going to up this tempo. We need to start breaking them down, go a little bit more direct. We're not keeping possession at all anyway, so I think we're going to afford to push for this a little bit. Success gets dispossessed, but can we win this ball? We are going to win this ball. McLaughlin's on it, gives it away. Poor passing. Really poor passing in some spots. Isaac Success. Losing the ball again. Oxford not much better, like, to be quite honest with you. Right, we're going to win this and we're going to score with 22 minutes to go. Tommy Smith. Away, man, stop giving the ball away. I'm too used to seeing better players. That's the problem. McLaughlin tries to find Penaranda. Again, the ball's just bobbling about. Penaranda's there. Adalberto Penaranda gets his second goal of the season, his second goal of the game, and he is currently saving our blushes. We're going to go back to balanced. We've conceded pretty much every time we've done that. But with 15 minutes to go, Penaranda's staying on. Success, you're staying on as well, mate. Flanagan can come on for Jordan Willis at centre back, that's fine. Denver Hume can come on for Declan John. We've got really good options in the centre of midfield. It's going to be Josh Scowen, new signing in January in real life from QPR, who comes on in his place. It's been a bit too much of an even game for my liking. This have gone very attacking. We're going to go on the cautious. If it wants to change, 4 minutes remaining. Time is just ticking away. And there's our first game in charge done. And our first win. Max Power and Penaranda saving our blushes. It was a hard game, that. Harder than I thought it was going to be. But we've done it. 3 points in our first game. But if we had Will Grigg up front in that game, there's absolutely no chance that just happens. This is all down to this lad, Penaranda. Our next match is in 7 days against Ipswich, one of our promotion rivals. Based on that performance, I don't think we are the sort of side who's going to be playing it short and keeping possession, despite what our board wants, unfortunately. We're going to have to probably play a bit higher tempo, pass it into some space. Noticed a couple of times when Penaranda got the ball in the final third, he wasn't really supported all that well. We'll have to keep an eye on that over the course of the next few games, but happy we got the win. Ipswich are going to be a much different kettle of fish though. They can quite easily punish us. Are you all up to date with Yo-Yo Man? Did you watch the last episode? Playoffs with Huddersfield Town? Looking at the analytics, Huddersfield's really not doing as well as Birmingham was. People seem to love the Birmingham part of this save. Huddersfield, not so much. But we've got to stick with it. We've got to get them to the Premier League and try and beat Birmingham. There's another signing from your head of youth development. I mean, fine, 120 quid a week. If he comes in as the best potential youngster we've got, then I'll be very, very delighted. Alright, it's just a 3-star potential, unfortunately. 3 days to go till Ipswich. The transfer window is still open. I'm not particularly on the hunt for anybody. I think we're pretty well covered in every position now. I would love to sign a worldy left wing back, but the options for that are pretty limited in League One, unfortunately. Seven of you in the stream right now. I was surprised I was going to get one, to be quite honest with you, lads. Thank you for joining us. What is my very first live stream. You know, I was thinking about doing it on Twitch, but I'd rather do it on YouTube, to be quite honest with you. I've already got an audience here. I've got some people who will be willing to watch, whereas on Twitch you'll be starting from scratch. And regardless of the benefits of Twitch longer term, I'd rather grow my YouTube channel alongside. So you can expect to see more streams from myself. Oh, as our head of youth development, now in for Tyler Hamilton on a free. 20 years old. I'm not as appealed by that as I was for the youngsters. I'm going to withdraw that contract offer. I do not want him in my club. Ballymumba is consistently performing as the best player in the training, which is good. Can play right back. You can already see me, the cogs whirling as to how I'm going to get him into the first team squad. Maybe I just need to play him. Just sack off Max Power. Because I'm not sacking off George Dobson. I know he can become, at the very least, a leading player for most championship sides. I know he can. He's got the mentals to absolute die for a hard-working midfielder. It's the sort of thing that I love in a central midfielder. I really love a workhorse playing in there. So, our second game, away from home against recently relegated Ipswich Town. We're not dropping Max Power after he's just had a great game. Josh Scowen can come out. Everything else looks pretty good though. I want Ballymumba on the bench. I want Luke O'Nien on the bench. Big Dunk, do I want you on the bench? I probably need him on the bench, to be honest with you. Sorry, Grant. You're going to have to be sacrificed for the good of the realm. Get Duncan one more on the bench. He hasn't quite got the pace that he used to, but he can still cause some damage down that right-hand side if Semenyo is not performing. So they come up with a similar sort of formation to us. A lot heavier in the midfield. Alan Judge I recognise. Luke Garbett I recognise. Former Everton left-back. Used to be really, really highly rated on Football Manager, I seem to recall. But we are playing attacking from the off here. I'll probably change that pretty quickly into the game. I like to start attacking for the first 5-10 minutes. See how that performs for us. Highlights, no it's not. Football Manager just likes to lie to me every now and then, that's fine. There we are. John McLaughlin with the goal kick. Don't lose it now. Hoping for Isaac's success to do some more damage in this game. Semenyo picks up the ball on the right hand side. Our lone player plays back Penaranda. I tell you what, lads. I tell you what. That's his third goal already. We're only 2 games in. And he's going to be top scorer in League One. I'm certainly hoping so anyway. If you are just joining us in the stream, we are Sunderland AFC. We are expected to win League One. And that is what we are going to endeavour to do. Mark, we're not so bad, man. We're alright. Not in real life, but at least on Football Manager, Sunderland are not too bad. It's just the high expectations that are a bit of a problem. Max Powers plays it out to Semenyo on the right hand side, and that was a strange nobbing the ball on Semenyo. But 18 minutes gone, 1-0 up. We just need to keep it tight at the back. We've got the 3 centre-halves, the very good centre-halves as well. So they should hopefully do us okay. As you can see, Ipswich, going by the match stats, Ipswich are definitely coming back into this. McLaughlin goes good save there. Might drop just slightly a bit deeper. Because it looks like for the time being, we're going to be on the back foot quite a bit. But Max Power brings it forward, plays it to Semenyo. Got a couple of options ahead of you, Dobson, if you want them. On the left-hand side. We are asking the boys to play it down the wings as well. Antoine Semenyo. Norris, that was terrible, mate. You should be saving that. And we are 2-0 up, away from home against one of the best sides in the league. At least by the media, they reckon they're going to finish second. So we will take it all day. This is so choppy. Remind me to change the preferences once I'm out of this game, please. Have ourselves another highlight. Down the left hand side, hopefully it's our attack. Declan John plays it in, it's cleared. Max Power keeps it live though, George Dobson. Oh, right hand side, see that gap? Right through there. That's why you should thread the needle. That's why we need a playmaker. Unfortunately, we haven't got one in our squad. Power, Semenyo overlap. There's Conor McLaughlin. He goes for goal. I was always ambitious. I don't know, Mark, to be quite honest with you. Like, obviously, if this season that we're in at the minute continues in real life, the likelihood is we'll only be playoffs at best, and that's not even a guarantee. So it's a tough one. We're having under Phil Parkinson. We've been just dodgy, very dodgy. Jackson goes close for Ipswich. McLaughlin with a save. But I would certainly hope so. I would hope we'll go up. But we all know what happened last season in the playoffs. Got a lot of players in our squad who I think are big time bottlers. Like, once the pressure gets turned up too much, start to crumble. So with 20 minutes to go, Ipswich haven't really been in this game. And as I say this, the go wide, haven't really been in this game at all, pretty much. Despite the match stats looking pretty even, we are definitely creating the better chances. And are obviously taking them. Pennerand at Isaac, success at the back post. Norris, headed in Norris. With 15 to go, we will look to make some changes. Chris Maguire's still injured, I think. So Pennerand, I'm going to take him off. We're going to rest him. We'll bring on Kyle Lafferty. Declan John's not having a good game on the left-hand side. We'll bring on Denver Hume. We don't have the swap for... We're going to bring on Ballymumba for his first start of the season. Metzala's not really his role. We'll put him in a central midfielder of support. See how he gets on there. Kyle Lafferty with a free kick. 8 minutes to go. He plays it in. Who won that? Jordan Willis, my son. Take a bow. Absolutely fantastic stuff. 3-0 away against Ipswich Town. That is just a great, great start. Lafferty's the man who comes on, gets the free kick in. This is so... I cannot watch this in 3D. We might have to take off the 3D replays. My laptop doesn't know what to do with itself. Going to keep an eye on my CPU and GPU usage. I don't know, it shouldn't really be lagging, like, but it is a bit stuttery, so I am going to turn down the preferences just a bit. I can't even remember how you do it. Right. Low anti-aliasing. God, the crowd. I wouldn't even be bothered to turn them off, to be quite honest with you. We'll keep that as medium. Render quality, we'll go down to high. Texture quality, we'll go down to medium. We'll see if that makes any bit of a difference for when we're live. But if not, we're just going to have to turn off the 3D highlights. The little laptop, that code doesn't really know itself. It's never streamed before. It's only ever recorded. So we've only got 4 days to the Blackburn game, so I'm going to rest our boys. Blackburn League Cup. I'm not playing a full strength squad in the League Cup. I'll have to take a look, see what the board expect of me. But likelihood is we'll play a slightly rotated side. We'll keep some of our major players in there. I'll start Ballymumba. Maybe Luke O'Nien on the right hand side. Penneranda I'll start. Success I'll start. If Lyndon Gooch is fit, we'll start him on the right hand side. Got to go a couple of centre halves who will come in and do a decent job as well. So we've definitely got options there. I would have preferred to not be playing championship opposition though. So our expectation for the League Cup's 3rd round, and I'm assuming this is the first. Yeah. Not ideal, but we are at home. And we've got some players who could easily be championship quality. Got Pompey after that as well at home. I need to prioritise that Pompey game, like. It's only 3 days in between. And the main positions who will be tired the most are the wing backs and the central midfielders, so I might change them and leave everyone else pretty much at full strength. Excuse me, lads, I'll be back in 2 minutes. I just need the toilet. Hello, I'm back. Right. Yes, I did wash my hands, you filthy gets. Especially in this climate. Oh. Right then. Blackburn tomorrow. Still got a few weeks the transfer window to go. We'll see if anybody comes in for any of ours, which will then inform what we do. Right. Team of the week, Jordan Willis and Semenyo both had good games. Semenyo getting his debut goal. I think he probably deserves the starting spot at right wing. The good news is with the likes of Semenyo is he could potentially grow into a championship player, and we could just extend his loan at the end of the season if he's good enough. Obviously, the likes of Success and Penaranda are likely to probably not come back to us next season. But Semenyo definitely could. So George Dobson, you are coming out for Ballymumba. He can play box to box. Scowen doesn't really start, so he can start. Luke 09, I want to start on the right hand side. And I want to start Denver Hume on the left. Tom Flanagan can come in, who's struggling the most. They're all the same pretty much. Joel Lynch is not having the greatest time of it, so I'll stick him in. I think that's pretty much it. I think everybody else will still be fine with a 3-day delay in between games. Put Duncan Watmore on the bench as well. Oh, I really wish when Duncan Watmore, miss when Duncan Watmore used to have massive potential, and he used to just be fast. He used to be more than enough for the lower leagues. Right then, boys, we'll go faith. We are up against championship opposition in Blackburn Rovers. I was about to say, do they have Jack Rodwell there? Of course they don't. Not anymore. First highlight of the game, Nyambia, good player. We had him at Birmingham. We had him on loan. Was it Birmingham? No, it was Huddersfield, man. Denver Hume coming down the left-hand side. Gets stopped by the Blackburn player. Got options on the right. 09 is the man over there. Plays it to Semenyo down the line. Playing at Penaranda. Decent start. Ballymumba feeds Denver Hume down the left. He whips it in back post. Semenyo. Oh, would have been another good attack from us. We've started the game really brightly, and Blackburn haven't really. They've got some good players though. Lewis Holtby, if you remember him from his Spurs days when everyone thought he was the next big thing. good play by Denver Hume to win the ball in deep area. Looks like we're remaining composed as well and not just chucking away possession, which is good. As I said, that we chuck away some possession. Williams to Brereton. It's play. Goes close, only a couple of yards out. "20 minutes gone though. We've done well so far. We're keeping possession quite well. And we've had more shots than they have. So you can't ask for more than that, can you? Another highlight. Lewis Holtby. Free kick for Blackburn. Good save by McLaughlin. Can we spring a counter-attack? He finds Ballymumba and acres of space in the centre. Play that down the line, Bally. Come on. Isaac Success picks it up. He gets dispossessed by Niambia. Niambia's got really, really good physicals. He's a very fast player, so he's going to have to beat him with trickery rather than using his physical attributes. Bradley Dack brings the ball forward for Blackburn now. Goes for goal. Thankfully, we're keeping them pretty much consigned to long shots, which is ideal. It's exactly what we want. Obviously, playing the three centre-backs means that they're not going to really try and run straight through you, because if you do, there's another man there already. And now we have it. Sunderland 0, Blackburn 0. Not a bad first half. We would like to get through in this competition, but if we don't, I think the board will understand and forgive me. As long as I win the league, which is what they're demanding. Penaranda brings the ball down the left-hand side. Success in the box. Out to Hume. I thought he was going to whip it in. This time he is. Scowen's there to Semenyo. Oh, double block. Lugo 9. Penaranda. Oh, what a great save by the goalkeeper. We should be 1-0 up there, mind. Penaranda had a gilt-edged opportunity, but it ends up being a great save, and it looks like this highlight is going to end us. Flanagan. Nah, it's over. Come on, lads. We're playing in front of a packed crowd. There's 12,000 of us here. And I don't mean the stream, I mean the stadium. If only. 20 minutes to go. We'll have a look, see what sort of changes we can make. Luca 9 struggling on that right-hand side, so we've got McLaughlin to bring on. Ballymumba, unfortunately, hasn't had the greatest game. We're going to bring on... we'll bring on Max Power. George Dobson's a more defensive-minded central midfielder, and it's not something we need. Semenyo's not having a good game either. We're going to make 3 changes. Duncan Watmore comes on that right-hand side. See if he can make the difference or not for us in the final 10. Does the League Cup early rounds go... I think it goes to extra time, doesn't it? We're going to go on the attack. I really don't want extra time. We've got Portsmouth in 3 days. Don't do this to me. Oh, it's go. Oh. Would I rather get beat to avoid extra time? No, I wouldn't. I still want to win. Bennett comes down the right-hand side. Vale shit. Oh, my throat got stuck. Chapman, he's in behind. He's offside. Don't worry about it. He's offside. We can skip past this and forget it ever happened. 3 minutes to go. It has to be now or it's never. Isaac Success brings the ball down the left-hand side. Gets dispossessed by Gallagher. They've really kept Success quiet in this game. Thankfully, though, they're not keeping possession very well. We're a bit narrow. I've told the boys to attack them width is quite wide, and they're not doing it. Thankfully, the drift out wide once we're in possession as Watmore brings it down the right. Whips the ball in. Keeper saves. Gone straight to penalties. I'd prefer that, to be honest with you. As long as our boys are relatively fit for the Portsmouth game next. Duncan Watmore. Come on, son. Down the right-hand side. He gets dispossessed, but McLaughlin's there backing him up. The ball's whipped into Penaranda. Thank goodness for that. Adalberto Penaranda is just an absolute god in League One. And he has got his 4th goal in 3 games. This is terrible, isn't it? Sorry, boys. It's going to have to be 2D all the way. McLaughlin with a corner. Penaranda in. And there we have it. 1-0. 2 minutes remain. Very defensive. And we see out the rest of the game. Full time. Beating championship opposition in the League Cup first round is nothing to sneeze at. I know it was only Blackburn. And they aren't the best side in the championship, but it was always going to be difficult. How's Charlie White getting on at AFC Wimbledon? Terribly. There's a surprise. Going to rest our boys again for a day. Try and boost their recovery times for the Portsmouth game, which is coming up next. They have started the season extremely well as well. 2 wins in their first 2. Beating us top of the table on goal difference currently. So we could definitely do with a fit and ready squad. Well, this is, for my very first stream, it's all gone very swimmingly. The computer hasn't died. We've worked out that highlights is not too bad. But yeah, Portsmouth tomorrow. We'll quickly get to that. And we'll see where we stand in this league. Obviously beating Ipswich was massive. Portsmouth are another tail though. Particularly last season in League 1 in real life, Portsmouth. The games against Sunderland and Portsmouth always caused all sorts of problems. Clement. 600 to 800k. Oh. He's far better than Denver Hume. He's far better than John as well, I would imagine. Going to take him now. Declan John versus that Sidon. So Declan John has the pace and the physicals on him, but apart from that, mentally, every single attribute aside from work we're at, he would take up the entirety of our budget pretty much. And he's got potential to be a good championship left wing back. He's not natural in that position right now. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about this one. What's his fairly consistent as well. That's a good sign. All them cons are pretty much nothing for a left wing back. Light-hearted personality. I'm out. Not that Light-hearted is a particularly bad personality for Football Manager. It's just not that great either. It was the make or break. Spending 600 and 800k in League 1 is a big deal. So we can't just do it willy-nilly. Right then, so Portsmouth it is going to be next. We'll see what our assistant manager reckons. Dobson Scowen rather than Max Power. Don't know about that, mate. Get Max Power back in the centre of midfield. McLaughlin and John is fine as our wing backs. Centre backs look good as well. Sorry, Mumbo, you're going to have to sit this one out. I'm not bringing him on the bench this time today. Actually, I'll take him over Grant Ledbetter. I'm never putting Ledbetter on. As much as it pains me to say, his physicals just leave us feeling a little bit sick. That's probably a bit extreme, but it's how I feel. Actually, we're not putting Duncan Watmore on the bench. We're going to bring on Lyndon Gooch and try and get him some game time to bring his fitness back to level. I did start the season thinking Lyndon Gooch will be my starting right winger, but Semenyo was performing quite well out there. Obviously, with Portsmouth, they have a very, very good League 1 side. McCrory, I always recognise as being a very, very good defensive midfielder, particularly for this level. Got Marquis on the bench, a little bit surprising. He's a good player for League 1 sides. 21 goals for Doncaster last season in real life. Let's kick off then. We are at home. We have home advantage. Let's hope it pays dividends for us. They're playing on the counter. Interesting. I'm not staying on attack and then I'm going to go to positive. When away teams are on the counter against me and I'm attacking, it's always the spark and means I need to change it. Unfortunately, the change hasn't quite gone through before this highlight. So if they score here, I've got my excuse already lined up. John wins the ball. Dobson, come on, son. Success. Switches the play to Semenyo. Gets cut out. Thankfully, Willis picks up the loose ball. We are pretty advanced though. If we lose the ball, We are in all sorts of trouble. Semenyo down the right-hand side. Whip it in. Whip it in. Penaranda's there. 1-0, 4 minutes in. Adalberto Penaranda. Why is he at me? Why is he at me? He should be in the Championship. He shouldn't have joined us. But he decided to do it for 3k per week. And he is paying us back in spades. Semenyo doing good work again down that right-hand side. And Penaranda doing the rest. A win against Portsmouth as well as Ipswich would be absolutely fantastic. Alright, we'll see what's happening here then. Penaranda drives through the box. He gets taken down. And it is going to be a penalty for us. Max Power is the man who steps up to take it. I haven't set up my penalty takers in the tactic at all. Please score. He does so. He puts it 2-0 up. That's his second goal of the season. Scored a free kick in the very first game of the season as well, which was great. And 2-0 up 9 minutes in against our main contender, I would say, Portsmouth. Right then. 2-0 up, 20 minutes gone. Everything is coming up rosy. They have not changed system. They're still on the counter. And obviously us being positive means we're not pushing forward quite as much as they would hope we are to be able to catch us on the counter. So we're sort of evening each other out right now for the final 40 minutes of this first half. But that is absolutely fine by me. We're the ones that has 2-0 up, not them. They need to come at us. And rather than being proactive, I'll be reactive in this game. And we'll keep an eye. Now they've went balanced. They have moved up a gear. So we should see more pressing from Portsmouth and them attacking a little bit more. But even then, they're not really causing us too many issues. As I say that, they get a free kick about 25 yards out. Evans steps over it and he buries it. Gareth Evans. Oh, man. Just talking about how they weren't really causing us any issues and then they're banging an excellent set piece. It was a great goal. McLaughlin can't get anywhere near it. And our lead has been slimmed down to 1. Our two wingers are not playing particularly well. Semenyo can come off for Lyndon Gooch. Isaac Success is going to have to stay on. We really need Chris Maguire back in the squad. Jordan Willis is not having a great game. Tom Flanagan is more than enough of a replacement for him with 20 minutes to go on. We've went to a balanced team mentality to match them and to hopefully stop them from bombing down these wings. I need my wing backs to really start working. We have a highlight. Max Power with a corner. It's cleared only as far as Lyndon Gooch. We're keeping men in the box. Max Power. Penaranda. Penaranda, my son. You are so good. He is so good. What's that? Your 5th goal? 6 goals of the season so far. Not bad at all. He's on 30 odd K a week at Watford, Penaranda. He's at us for 3. He's just stupidly good for this level. And if we do win the league, he'll be an absolutely huge reason why it's happened. Make our final substitute of the game, then I will get Isaac Success off. We'll bring on Kyle Lafferty in his place. Just rest Success's legs. He hasn't started the season brilliantly, but he is a new sign and just settling in. And there we have it. Sunderland 3, Portsmouth 1. Another huge game and another huge win. Now, if you'd told me at the beginning I would beat Ipswich and Portsmouth within the first 3 league games, I'd tell you you're lying. I thought we'd at least draw maybe one, maybe both. Charlie White getting a goal there for AFC Wimbledon, which is good. Means they might have to pay the 425k for him, which we would bite the hands off. Rochdale in 4 days' time, the games are coming thick and fast, so we're going to rest our boys again. It's not ideal to keep resting them because then obviously they're not training. So they're not improving as much as they would be if they weren't getting rest days. But I think it's for the best if we keep them fit when there's only 3 or 4 days in between every single match. We'll make some players available for the under-23s as well, just to keep their match fitness up. Rochdale, Wimbledon, Hull in the second. What's happening here? Why do we keep getting championship clubs? Well, we've avoided Premier League clubs, so maybe I shouldn't complain. Right, couple of weeks to go on the transfer window. Again, unless there's something major happens in terms of our first team squad, it's unlikely we want to sign anybody. Ethan Laird is a good player, or he turns into a good player anyway. 18 years old, Manchester United English right back. They all want too much money, man. We've only got 600k, 800k. So Rochdale away is coming up next. They're currently sitting 9th position in the league. Who have they played so far? So, beat Tranmere away from home the first day, but got beat off Doncaster at home. And then drew against Shrewsbury away. So they've had a bit of a up and down start, but sitting in 9th's not a bad position. Doncaster are another good side in this league, so we'll have to keep an eye out and see what they are doing in terms of their fixtures. But Rochdale, I fancy us. Honestly, I know I keep mentioning it, but with Penaranda in the squad, I fancy us against pretty much every team in this league. We should be at least competing. In terms of staffing, I think we're fully staffed now. Oh, what have we got? We've got a scout vacancy. It says I've got 4 out of 4 here, football manager. What are you talking about? Now, if I try to sign a scout, I can guarantee they would tell me to bog off. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and sign a scout. I know we've already got too many. But the game is telling me I've got a spot, and I would like as many spots as possible. So I am going to actually set up my scouts. Should I do it now? I'll set up my scouts now. I'll show you how I do that. If you're interested. It's not so effective with the League One side, but it is a lot more effective once you're in the Championship and in the Premier League, and your scouting range does get improved. This isn't right. I should have a lot more players, that's why. Right, here we go. Mental attributes are just one potential, really. But if I can get a current ability as well in Tommy Miller, currently scout for Spenny Moore, I will absolutely take it. He's probably not going to join, but you never know. And we are going to take the responsibility of assignments to myself. So it means we've got 4 scouts to play with. And we will look to assign them accordingly. Our scouting range is only Europe right now. We've got 5 areas which we could do in terms of regions. So I think I'm going to skip UK and Ireland in terms of region for now. And if that other scout does come in, he can end up scouting that region. So what I do is I add my conditions. I want to find players under the age of 23. For League One, if I was to make a signing right now, I would probably want them to either be 3.5 or 4 star and have a little bit of potential about them. That's the only way I would make a signing. I'll set that to ongoing for the duration, and now we'll start getting people from Central Europe by Danny Philpott, and we'll start increasing our knowledge of that region as well. So we've done Central Europe, we'll do Eastern Europe, age, current ability, potential ability, and we'll do the same again. 3.5, 4, ongoing. So we're going to get all these people who have at least 3.5 star potential, which is probably a top player in League One, and they should all of our scout reports coming in now should have at least good potential as well to potentially be a championship player. I need to set the region, don't I? Who's next? Scandinavia. You can get some absolutely wonderful players from Scandinavia on Football Manager in particular. I don't know if you have noticed this, but in the past couple of years, I never used to find Scandinavian players. Now I always find a Norwegian wonder kid, always, and they're always cheap, which is nice. It's probably why I find them. Yeah, but we'll just set this one up for South Europe as well, and then we will be all done. That's our scouting assignments for the rest of the year. Obviously, if this other scout does come in, we'll set him up for UK and Ireland, and then we are good to go all ways. Right. Rochdale. What we're thinking, lads. What we're starting. My assistant manager's determined to give Josh Scowen some game time. He is quite good. Go on then. You can have the start. Dobson in the centre. Semenyo, Success, Penaranda. Chris Maguire is shortly returning from injury. Much needed. We need some strength and depth on that left-hand side. We'll get Ballymumba on the bench this time. I always take the risk and take my goalkeeper off the bench. It's stupid because the one game in 50 where your goalkeeper gets injured, you're just knackered. But I always like to have options on the bench that I would regularly use. I think that's going to be it. Yeah, that's our squad. Let's submit this team. Let's get into the game against Rochdale. See how we'll get on. So they come at us with a 4-1-2-3 DM wide. Rolls off the tongue. Smith. Good striker. Good striker for this league. 20 years old as well. On loan from Sheffield United. I should know him. Tyler Smith. Decent player. See how he gets on. We should have enough to beat these, I think. Them sitting in mid-table. We're sitting top 3 wins out of 3. You would hope so. Anyway, they're playing cautious. We're going positive. Worked against Portsmouth. Let's see if it works against Rochdale. As we get our first highlight, 2.5 minutes in, Colin McLaughlin picks up the ball on the right-hand side. Is he going to whip this in? He is. Success is there, back post, and he heads over the bar. Another highlight now. Throw in deep in their final third. It's McLaughlin is the man to take it. Penaranda picks up in the box. Semenyo to Dobson. Oh, George. George, you should be burying that, mate. I don't care if you're a defensive midfielder. So we're not really keeping possession very well in this game. But we're obviously creating more of the opportunities. Should we... we're coming back into it in terms of possession. It's more 50-50 now. 30 minutes gone. Demand more from the boys. Not a great first half so far. Henderson picks up the ball for Rochdale on the left hand side. Semenyo's chasing him down, but he gets past him. And he's supported by Norrington Davis. He plays it out to camps. I don't like this at all. Ryan. We've got lots of men back. If we can pinch this and set away Penaranda. I don't think we're going to though. Matheson on the right hand side to Sousa. Come on lads. Declan John. Oh, what's happening? John McLaughlin, clear. Thank God for that. Penaranda brings it down brilliantly. And Semenyo now, he's in behind. He goes, don't shoot from that angle, man. You're never going to score from there. And the first half is quickly coming to an end. Only 2 minutes remaining. Norrington Davis whips in the ball. Callum Camps gets the opening goal for Rochdale, and we go 1-0 down just before half time. Disappointing. It's from a set piece, there's not a lot you can do. And Camps at the back post. McLaughlin's nowhere to be seen. Oh, if we could have got in at half time at 0-0, I would have been relatively pleased, but we go in 1-0 down. I'm not going to make any changes just yet. We've already went attacking rather than on the positive team mentality, as they have reduced. They have went on a balanced team mentality themselves rather than on the counter. Semenyo is brought down in the box. Norrington Davis is the man committing the foul. And number 44 is Isaac Success. Can he get his first goal in a Sunderland shirt? He steps up and he puts it in the back of the net. We draw things level 4 minutes after the break. And can we go on and push on to win this now? Hopefully we can. We'll have to wait and see. We don't need to see the replay of the penalty. It was a penalty. Semenyo's picked up a knock. We'll get Duncan Watmore on for him on that right hand side. And we have ourselves another highlight. Declan John to Penaranda. Plays it into Duncan Watmore. It's cleared. They are defending in numbers right now. You see, nobody was left up front for Rochdale there. They're happy with the point. Isaac Success on the left hand side. Tries to switch it. Scowen, can you pick it up? Anybody pick it up? Oh, he's getting... second yellow card. Right. We're going to push the tempo a little bit. See how things go. See if we can get a goal from this with half an hour to go. Sometimes I find it harder to score against 10 men, like. 62 minutes gone. We have ourselves a throw-in in Rochdale's final third. McLaughlin is the man to take it. Scowen plays it. Success. Opportunities. One clear-cut chance, 3 half chances. We need to start doing better with them. Scowen plays the ball through the middle for Penaranda. He's got in behind the defence. What a finish that is. Semenyo couldn't score from that angle. But Adalberto Penaranda certainly can. Scowen deserves his starting spot over Max Power on the basis of that pass. Plays it over the top. Great ball. It does go out wide, quite a touch, but that is a fantastic back post finish. His 7th goal of the season. We're barely a few games into it and he's already got 7. Will Grigg would have had 1 by now, if we were lucky. Right then, Penaranda heads it down to John. We are quite highly pressed. We do have a higher line of engagement, which does sometimes cause some problems when we're under pressure in the defence, but it's something they have to do. McLaughlin plays it through for Penaranda again. Almost a pretty identical goal from his goal earlier. Not to be, though. In terms of substitutes, we really need Chris Maguire. Don't have a lot of options. Denver Hume can come on. Max Power can come on. And that is going to be that. We're going to go to a more balanced team mentality. They have gone cautious. Obviously being down to 10 men. They are just looking for any sort of way to get back into this game. And they might have it here with Sousa coming down the right hand side. Matheson is overlapping as well. Denver Hume's marking him well. Camps do not score again. He gives the ball away. Watmore sets away Penaranda. He's got acres of space to run into. He goes for goal. Oh my word. Is this boy for real? I want to sign him. I want to sign him permanently. If only he wasn't on £33,000 a week, I would sign him, no matter the price. 8 goals for the season. I think this is our fourth or 5th game in. And that is just a superb finish. Absolutely superb. Oh. Is this just going to be a Penaranda stream? It's not even Sunderland we're managing now, it's just Adalberto. Time is ticking away, then 2 minutes left. And we have it. Sunderland 3, Rochdale 1. We did go 1-0 down. It was a little bit scary, but we managed to bounce back and get the win. Absolutely fantastic. Right then, lads. It takes me to about 2 hours in. I'm going to call it an end here. I shall be live streaming this again tomorrow. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to just thank you all for sticking with us and coming into the stream. It should be probably about tomorrow afternoon as well, I would imagine. Maybe around 1, 2 o'clock-ish. And then I'll probably just go for a bit longer as well. I've just got stuff to do today. So it's 4:15, 3rd of April, 2020. I'll see you next time. VOD will be live.